Hello, this is the first of what might be a series about how to get involved with grassroots activism so that you have actual concrete actions to take when you feel like things are garbage. In this video, we're going to talk about phone banking. So what is phone banking? Looking this up gets you a lot of results about managing your money over the phone, but in an activist context, phone banking is campaigning by reaching out to voters by phone. This is most commonly used to increase voter turnout when running for office, but it can also be used to activate a support network around a specific issue. Phone banking is done by obtaining a list of voters and their phone numbers. In the United States, all 50 states are required to have an electronic central voter file. However, the content and availability of this file varies greatly state by state. The US Elections Project has created a website where you can find specific information about how to obtain a list of voters in your state. Note that some states charge a fee for accessing the list, which can range from a couple dollars to a couple $1,000s, so you may need to partner with an organization. Also, in no state are you allowed to use voter information for commercial purposes. Please do not use this information for commercial purposes. So let's say you live in a state where voter information is available to you and you have a cause that you're passionate about. You may want to throw a phone banking party. A phone banking party is exactly what it sounds like. The first thing you'll need before throwing a party is a concrete action that you want voters to take. You need to have an ask. Will you go to the polls tomorrow and vote yes on this issue? Will you call the CEO of this company and pressure them to take this action? Once you have your action, you need to write a script for your callers to follow. This should be brief and to the point, but could also have an emotional appeal. Your callers should introduce themselves to make the call more personal. Expect that your callers may deviate from the list slightly so that the words sound more natural and comfortable to them. Once you have your action in your script, it's time to invite your friends to the party. Set a date, time, and location and make a Facebook event just like you would a birthday party. On the day of the event, when your guests arrive, set aside some time to provide some basic instructions. Introduce the cause, hand out scripts and voter lists, and give your guests some pointers like don't get into arguments on the phone. Instead, politely hang up. You might also want to provide food and refreshments to lighten the atmosphere. After introductions are done, you're all set to call some voters.
Hi, my name is Taylor and I'm a volunteer with URGE, Unite for Reproductive and Gender Equity. I'm calling about Toledo's last remaining abortion clinic.
Hang up. Taylor,
Yeah.
what just happened?
This woman, she said, you want to save the abortion clinics? And I said, yeah. She said, well, why would you want to do that? And I explained, so that everyone would have access to all care that they need. And she said, that's a sin. A terrible sin.
How often in your experience do people hang up?
If they even answer it the first place, I'd probably say like 20 to 25% of the time as soon as you say the word abortion.
What advice would you have for people who are trying this for the first time?
Don't get discouraged. You'll probably make like 20, 30, 40 calls before you even finally talk to somebody. But when you actually have that conversation, it can be so empowering and impactful and moving to be able to like talk to somebody that also cares about the issue and allow them or like help them get involved, in a way that they maybe didn't previously know they could get involved. So it's really awesome to get to share that excitement with folks.
You're so lovely.
Stop.
So we're in the basement and I'm gonna do my first phone banking call.
Woo!
I'm
It's like
scared
8
of
p.m.
talking on the phone. What'd you say?
I said it's like 8 p.m.
It is. It's like 8 p.m. Hi, may I speak with Amy? Hi, my name is Morgan and I'm a volunteer in Northwest Ohio. I'm just calling because the last abortion clinic in Toledo, Capital Care, will be forced to close if ProMedica or St. Luke's Hospital doesn't sign a transfer agreement with the clinic. Just this morning, the Ohio Supreme Court ruled against the clinic, so now is the time for ProMedica or St. Luke's to act and protect access to abortion in our community. I'm just wondering if you would be able to take a few moments tomorrow morning, maybe, to call ProMedica and St. Luke's to urge them to sign a transfer agreement? Alright, thank you. Do you have something to write down phone numbers with? Okay, so the ProMedica CEO, Randy Ustra, his phone number is 567-585-3984. And the St. Luke's CEO, Dan Wakeman, is 419-893-5902. Okay, and please tell them that Capital Care needs the transfer agreement to stay open, and as a resident of Northwest Ohio, you feel that it is critical that the clinic not be forced to close, and that the transfer agreement doesn't require them to do anything different than they already do. It just ensures that the healthcare resource stays open in our community. Does that make sense? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
That was a good call.
Great job!
I'll provide some more resources in the video description since this is a very broad overview and you'll probably want to do some more research before starting. If you're an introvert like me and you don't want to organize a phone banking party all by yourself, you can partner with a local organization. Phone banking is the less glamorous side of activism, and so volunteers are frequently needed to do this. I have very severe anxiety, and even I managed to make one phone call, and if calling voters isn't your cup of tea, consider calling your representatives instead. I actually made a video about this last year, which I will also link to in the description and in the card up in the corner. So that's it for today's Activism 101. If you'd like to support this series and my other endeavors, you can fund me on Patreon, which I will link at the end of this video and also in the description, and also consider hitting that notification bell next to the subscribe button so you get actual notifications when I post. See you soon!